Is World War III inevitable? Are we too blind to acknowledge the worst-case scenario, have become too complacent, ignoring the signs that are becoming impossible to overlook with each passing day? Are we hurtling towards a dangerous period that could arrive sooner than later? According to the British Army Chief, the UK must be ready to fight a war in 3 years. A war against an axis of upheaval. Russia, China, Iran and North Korea. That's the term he used, axis of upheaval. In fact, he warned against a range of threats in what he called is a global problem. Now, with Britain, a nuclear power and UN Security Council member, warning its army to be ready in 3 years, if Britain is sounding the alarm, if the UK Army Chief is saying this, shouldn't the world take this seriously? Let's get to the context. On the sidelines of an annual army conference, General Walker, the new chief of Britain's forces, told journalists that he predicts Russian President Vladimir Putin will emerge from the invasion of Ukraine very, very dangerous and wanting retribution against countries like the UK, whether Moscow wins or loses. Besides Putin. But you see, that's just one part of the story. Walker's concerns may stem from China's threatening stance towards Taiwan. Will China invade Taiwan by 2027? It has been widely speculated that Xi Jinping has instructed the PLA to prepare for an invasion of Taiwan by 2027. Around the same time frame as Walker urged the British troops to be ready for a full-scale war. China, though, is not stopping just at Taiwan. It is eyeing the Philippines, particularly the disputed Sabina Shoal in the South China Sea, a flashpoint that could ignite a larger conflict. The question remains, are we prepared to stop pretending that the threat of World War III does not exist? Those too frightened to accept this reality choose oblivion. And you bet Taiwan and the Philippines are taking this threat very seriously. You see, Xi Jinping is not hiding his ambitions. China aims to make the 9-dash line a reality. But then again, this is not the Ming dynasty. The age of emperors and conquerors is long gone. A strategic thinker must deal with the worst-case scenario of a war and the best-case scenario of diplomacy. That's how the game works. General Walker seems to be preparing for all the scenarios. And his stark warnings highlight the urgent need for the British Army to rebuild its fighting power to deter future wars. He cautions against relying on outdated ideas about warfare, urging adaptation to new technologies, transforming the battlefield, such as using autonomous weapons, artificial intelligence, and new technologies to make soldiers more effective. General Walker emphasizes on the urgency of preparing credible land forces to support a strategy of deterrence against Russia, China, North Korea, and a nuclear ambitious Iran. He aims to double the army's ability to fight and kill by 2027 and to destroy an enemy force 3 times their size by the end of the decade. By the way, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has pledged to increase defence spending to 2.5% of the national income, up from just over 2% now. But many defence insiders believe even this boost is too small. So can the UK actually be able to credibly fight a full-scale war with such limited resources without more troops or money? The short answer is no. Like other Western countries, it will be heavily dependent on each other for support. Think about this for a second now. Up to 800,000 troops, 200,000 vehicles, massive amounts of equipment moving within 3 to 6 months of conflict. This is exactly what NATO leaders discussed and reviewed. Early this month, at the Washington summit, NATO's new force model aims to have over hundreds of thousands of troops ready for conducting land, naval, air, space, and cyber operations in the eventuality of a large-scale war. The review found that 500,000 troops were presently ready for any such combat. But will that be enough for the Western forces to protect the current world order? Just last month, Slovakia's Prime Minister Robert Fico said that Ukraine joining the NATO could spark a global conflict. Russian President Vladimir Putin echoed similar statements in the month of March, cautioning the West that a direct conflict between NATO and Russia would mean that the world was just a step away from World War III. So are we truly prepared for what might come? If history has taught us anything, it is that it takes just one incident to trigger a wider war. After 2 world wars, are we on the brink of another incident that can lead to an all-out war? A nuclear Armageddon? The spectre of World War III is not just a distant nightmare, but a looming possibility. The signs are all around us, growing clearer day by day. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.